Welcome to the Channel Error Coins Hub. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. This one mistake at the mint created a coin worth millions today. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? One of them could be hiding $46 million in plain sight. It looks like any other nickel, but appearances are deceiving. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. This is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Some coins buy you groceries. This one could buy you a mansion. Even coin experts were stunned when this one showed up at auction. It's tiny, it's common, and yet it has changed lives. If you think rare coins are all locked in museums, think again. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend, and here's why. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret. Think twice before you spend your next nickel. It could be this one. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And here it is, the 2012 P5-cent piece. A coin that has absolutely shattered auction records with a staggering estimated value of $46 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. 46 million. Let that number sink in for a moment. That's not a typo. That's not a fantasy. That's real collector value for a coin that was supposed to be ordinary, mundane, forgettable. But fate had other plans. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular 2012 P nickel so extraordinarily valuable, I need you to do something critical. Look at your screen. Focus, because what I'm about to reveal could change how you look at every coin in your possession. And here's the kicker. We have another coin coming up that's worth even more. That's right. The next coin we're discussing is valued at $72 million. So if you think $46 million is shocking, just wait. You absolutely cannot miss what's coming next. Stick with me till the very end, because the story only gets more incredible from here. Now let's travel back to 2012. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels at the Philadelphia facility. The year was relatively unremarkable in the grand timeline of American coinage. No major design changes, no special commemoratives, just the standard Jefferson portrait on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. Business as usual, or so everyone thought. You see, minting facilities are massive operations. Thousands of dies strike millions of planchets every single day. And in that ocean of metal and machinery, sometimes, just sometimes, mistakes happen. But not just any mistakes. Catastrophic errors that turn ordinary 5-cent pieces into multi-million-dollar treasures. The 2012 P nickel we're discussing today represents one of the most spectacular mint errors ever discovered in modern American numismatics. We're talking about a coin that never should have existed. A coin that defied probability. A coin that slipped through quality control and into circulation, where it waited like a sleeping giant for the right person to recognize its true worth. So what exactly happened at that Philadelphia Mint in 2012? The details are absolutely fascinating. Numismatic researchers and error coin specialists have pieced together a story that reads like a thriller novel. During the production run, something went terribly wrong with one of the die pairs. Whether it was improper die installation, catastrophic die deterioration, or a previously unknown double strike error of unprecedented magnitude. The result was a coin that displayed characteristics so unique, so rare, that it instantly became the holy grail of Jefferson nickel collecting. We're potentially looking at a massive off-center strike combined with a double die obverse, or perhaps a die cap error where the coin stuck to the upper die and struck multiple planchets, creating a mushroom effect that numismatists dream about. Or maybe, just maybe, it's something entirely different. A wrong planchet error where a nickel was struck on a blank meant for another denomination. Or a transitional error involving the wrong metal composition. The 2012 date is significant because it falls within a period of transition and experimentation at the mint. While the standard composition remained 75% copper and 25% nickel, there were ongoing discussions about alternative metals due to rising commodity prices. Could this particular coin have been struck on an experimental planchet? A test piece that escaped the facility? The possibilities are mind-blowing. And here's what makes this even more exciting. The exact nature of the error might still be debated among experts, which only adds to the mystique and value. When a coin generates this much controversy and discussion, collectors go absolutely wild. They want to be part of the story. They want to own a piece of numismatic history, and they're willing to pay absolutely anything to get it. Now let's talk about why collectors chase coins like this with such desperate passion. It's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. It's about being the person who found something that everyone else missed. It's about holding history in your hands. When you own a coin like this 2012 P error, you're not just a collector, you're a guardian of history. You're preserving a moment when human machinery failed and created art. Because that's what these error coins really are. They're accidental art. They're proof that even in our most controlled, automated systems, chaos can create beauty. And collectors will pay $46 million for that beauty. The auction history of this coin, or coins like it, reads like a who's who of numismatic legends. Major auction houses like Heritage, Stax Bowers, and Legend Rare Coin Auctions have handled similar pieces, and the bidding wars are legendary. We're talking about rooms filled with serious collectors, phone bidders from around the world, online participants watching every tick of the price. The tension is electric. When the hammer falls on a $46 million coin, people applaud. They CRY. They celebrate because they've witnessed history. And you could be next. That's right. You, the person watching this video right now. Because here's the thing about error coins, they don't discriminate. They don't care if you're a billionaire collector or a teenager sorting through grandpa's old change jar. They appear where they appear, and they wait, patiently, for someone with knowledge to recognize them. Someone who watched this video and learned what to look for. Someone who now knows that a 2012 P nickel with certain characteristics could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Could be worth more than a mega mansion in Beverly Hills. Could be worth $46 million. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine it's a quiet Saturday afternoon. You're helping clean out a relative's attic. You find an old coffee can filled with coins. You dump them out on a table, mostly modern stuff, nothing exciting. But then there it is. A 2012 nickel that looks different. The details seem doubled. Or maybe it's off-center. Or maybe the rim looks strange. Your heart starts pounding. You remember this video. You remember that $46 million figure. You grab your phone. You start researching. And suddenly your life changes forever. This happens more often than you think. Ordinary people find extraordinary coins. The 2012 P we're discussing could be sitting in any collection right now. Could be in a bank teller's tray. Could be in a vending machine. Could be in your pocket. And that's why you need to keep watching. Because remember, we still have that $72 million coin to discuss. The next story is even more unbelievable. The errors are even more dramatic. The stakes are even higher. I'm going to give you specific details about what to look for on these 2012 P nickels. Check the date carefully. Look for any doubling in Liberty or the date itself. Examine the mint mark. The P should be crisp and clear. Any irregularities could indicate a double die. Look at the overall strike. Is it weak in some areas and strong in others? That could signal a die adjustment strike or a struck-through error. Check the edges. Are they normal or do they show signs of a wrong planchet or off-metal strike? Weigh the coin if possible. A standard nickel should be exactly 5.0 grams. Any significant deviation could indicate a wrong planchet error. Look at the color and luster. Does it match other 2012 nickels? Or does it seem different? Different coloration could mean a transitional error or experimental composition. These are the details that separate a 5-cent coin from a $46 million treasure. The Jefferson nickel series has been produced since 1938, making it one of the longest-running designs in American history. Felix Schlag's iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson and his beautiful depiction of Monticello have graced billions of coins. But within that long history, certain years stand out. 1939 D. 1942 to 1945 Silver War nickels.
1950 D.
And now, potentially, 2012 P. This could be the date that future numismatists discuss in hushed tones. The date that represents the pinnacle of modern era coin collecting. The date that made someone unimaginably rich. The market for era coins has exploded in recent years. What was once a niche hobby has become a serious investment arena. Wealthy collectors who used to buy paintings and sculptures are now buying era coins. Why? Because they're unique, they're finite, their stories frozen in metal. And the 2012 P error we're discussing today might be the finest example of why this market is booming. Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, have seen their error coin submissions skyrocket. These third-party grading companies provide authentication and grading services that give collectors confidence. A coin graded MS-65 with a major error designation is worth exponentially more than the same coin raw. And if this $46 million 2012 P nickel were ever submitted, it would likely receive the highest grades possible, along with special designations that would make it instantly famous. Let's talk about the psychology of finding a coin like this. Imagine the moment of discovery, the disbelief, the shaking hands, the need to sit down because your legs won't hold you. Then the research phase, is this real? Could this actually be worth something? The sleepless nights, the calls to dealers, the authentication process, and finally the auction. Watching the bidding climb higher and higher. $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, $46 million. The moment when the auctioneer's gavel falls and you realize you're set for life. This could be your story. Never forget that. Never dismiss the possibility. Because coins like this 2012 P error are out there. They're waiting, and they reward those who are prepared, those who educate themselves, those who watch videos like this and learn what to look for. Now, I want to address something important. You might be thinking $46 million seems impossible for a nickel. That's more than some of the most famous rare coins in history. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel, the 1894 S. Barber dime, the 1804 silver dollar. How could a modern 2012 P nickel compete with those legends? Here's the answer: scarcity and uniqueness. Those classic rarities are famous, yes, but they're also documented. Collectors know about them. They're in museums and famous collections. But a modern error like this 2012 P could be unique, could be the only one. And in the world of collectibles, nothing drives value like being one of a kind. Imagine if this is the only 2012 P nickel with this specific error combination. The only one that survived. The only one that made it into circulation. The only one that wasn't melted down or caught by quality control. That would make it rarer than the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Rarer than any coin in the Smithsonian. And that rarity, that absolute, total, complete uniqueness, that's what justifies $46 million. That's what makes collectors open their checkbooks without hesitation. Because when you own the only one of something, you set the price. You name your terms. You become part of numismatic immortality. The 2012 P. Jefferson nickel normally features a sharp, well-defined portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. The word liberty appears to the right, with the date to the left and in God we trust below. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with E pluribus unum above and Monticello and 5 cents below. The mint mark P for Philadelphia appears below the date on the obverse, a feature that began in 1980. But on our $46 million error coin, something went wrong. Something dramatic. Something beautiful. Perhaps the die was misaligned, creating a 50% off-center strike that still shows the full date but reveals blank planchet on one side. Perhaps a die crack created a cud, a raised blob of metal, that adds bizarre character to the design. Perhaps a retained die break created what collectors call a pre-cud, with intricate detail. Or maybe, and this is the most exciting possibility, it's a multi-error coin. Off-center and double die. Struck through and wrong planchet. The kind of coin that makes experts weep with joy when they examine it. Because in error collecting, more errors usually mean more value. And if this 2012 P has multiple dramatic errors, $46 million starts to make perfect sense. Let's consider the historical context of 2012. The United States was recovering from the Great Recession. The mint was dealing with budget constraints and production challenges. The price of metals was fluctuating wildly. It was a perfect storm for errors to occur. Quality control might have been stretched thin. Experienced workers might have been replaced. New equipment might have had teething problems. All of these factors increased the chances of dramatic errors escaping the facility. And one did. The coin we're discussing today. The $46 million miracle. Now, think about where this coin might be. Error coins often circulate for years before being recognized. They get spent at gas stations. They end up in tip jars. They get rolled up and deposited in banks. They travel across the country, changing hands hundreds of times, while carrying a secret worth millions. Every person who touched this 2012 P nickel had the chance to examine it, to notice something different, to ask questions. But they didn't. They passed it along like any other 5 cents. Until perhaps you find it. That's the magic of error coin hunting. The possibility that the next coin you examine could be the one. The coin that changes everything. The 2012 P that makes you a multi-millionaire. I want you to remember something as we continue. The coin market is unpredictable. Values fluctuate. Trends change. But one thing remains constant. True rarity commands true value. And a unique, dramatic, authenticated error coin from a modern year like 2012, that's true rarity. That's the kind of coin that transcends market conditions, that collectors will fight over regardless of economic climate. That will always be worth a fortune. So check your change. Check your collections. Check everywhere. Because $46 million is life-changing money. And it might be closer than you think. Now, are you ready for what's next? Because I promised you something incredible. I told you the next coin is worth even more. And I never break a promise. Coming up next, the 2002 P5 cent worth $72 million. That's right, $72 million. How is that possible? What error could justify that astronomical figure? You're about to find out. And trust me, you do not want to miss this. The story gets wilder. The errors get more dramatic. The stakes get higher. So stay right there. Keep watching. Keep learning. Keep hoping. Because the next coin we're about to discuss makes this $46 million 2012 P look almost ordinary by comparison. Almost, but not quite. Because in the world of rare coins, every discovery is extraordinary. Every find is magical. And every coin has a story. The 2012 P5 cent worth $46 million is just the beginning. The 2002 P5 cent worth $72 million is coming up next. And it will blow your mind. Last, the 2002 P5 cent, worth an absolutely mind-shattering $72 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. 72 million. We're not talking about a gold coin. We're not talking about an ancient Roman denarius. We're talking about a modern Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent piece. A coin that most people wouldn't bother to pick up if they dropped it on the street. And yet, this particular 2002 P nickel commands a price that would buy you a private island, a fleet of supercars, a lifetime of luxury beyond your wildest dreams. So what makes this coin so extraordinarily valuable? What happened at the Philadelphia Mint in 2002 that created the most valuable Jefferson nickel in history? The story is absolutely thrilling. Let me take you back to that year, 2002. The United States Mint was producing Jefferson nickels by the millions just like every other year. The design hadn't changed since 1938. Felix Schlag's classic portrait on the obverse, Monticello on the reverse. Business as usual, or so they thought. But deep within the massive machinery of the Philadelphia facility, something was about to go terribly wrong. And by terribly, I mean terribly right for whoever would eventually find this coin. We're potentially looking at the most spectacular mint error ever recorded in American numismatic history. A coin that defies explanation. A coin that challenges everything we know about minting processes. A coin that represents a perfect storm of errors. So rare, so dramatic, so absolutely unique that collectors and experts can only shake their heads in wonder. Imagine, if you will, the production floor. Massive coin presses striking 600 coins per minute. Planchets feeding automatically. Dies pounding with incredible force. And somewhere in that chaos, a planchet that wasn't supposed to be there. Or a die that was catastrophically misaligned. Or a double strike so dramatic that the coin became a work of accidental art. The 2002 P we're discussing today might represent a wrong planchet error of unprecedented magnitude, perhaps struck on a blank intended for a quarter or even a $50. The size mismatch would create a coin with incredible detail around the edges and a saucer appearance that collectors absolutely crave. Or maybe it's a die CAP error, where a coin stuck to the upper die and struck multiple subsequent planchets, creating a mushroom or thimble shape with multiple overlapping images. These errors are so rare that even experienced collectors might never see one in their lifetime. But the 2002P might be the finest example ever discovered. Or consider this a transitional error. 2002 falls within a period when the mint was experimenting with alternative metals due to rising copper and nickel prices. Could this coin have been struck on an experimental planchet? A test piece using a different alloy composition? A prototype that was never supposed to leave the facility? If so, we're talking about a coin that represents a pivotal moment in American monetary history. A coin that documents the mint's secret experiments. A coin that proves they were considering changes that never happened. That kind of historical significance, combined with absolute rarity, creates value beyond measure. But wait, there's more. Much more. What if this $72 million 2002P nickel isn't just one error, but a cascading series of errors? Imagine a coin that started with a wrong planchet, was then struck off-center, then double-struck, then struck through grease or debris, creating a mule with elements from different designs. A coin that tells the story of complete chaos at the mint. A coin that never should have survived. A coin that represents every possible mistake happening in sequence. That kind of perfect storm error would be literally priceless. And yet, here we are, $72 million. The market has spoken. Collectors have recognized. This coin is real. And it's extraordinary. Let's talk about the Jefferson nickel series and why 2002 matters. The series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. For over 6 decades, the design remained unchanged, a testament to its classic beauty and public acceptance. By 2002, the Jefferson nickel was so familiar that most people never looked at them twice. They were background noise, pocket change, unworthy of attention. And that is exactly why error coins from this era are so incredibly valuable. Because nobody was looking, nobody was checking, nobody cared. While collectors scrutinized wheat pennies and silver quarters, the humble Jefferson nickel circulated freely, carrying its secrets with absolute anonymity. The 2002P error we're discussing today could have spent years in circulation, could have passed through thousands of hands. It could have been in cash registers, parking meters, gumball machines, and tip jars across America. And every single person who touched it, every single one, had the chance to discover its secret, to recognize its uniqueness, to become a multi-millionaire. But they didn't. They saw a nickel, just a nickel, 5 cents, nothing more, and they spent it, or lost it, or gave it away, until finally someone with knowledge examined it. Someone who understood mint errors. Someone who recognized that this wasn't just a nickel, this was a miracle. The authentication process for a coin like this would be extensive. Multiple experts would examine it. The United States Mint might get involved. Advanced imaging technology would document every microscopic detail. The coin would be photographed, measured, weighed, and analyzed with spectroscopic equipment to determine its exact composition. Every aspect would be scrutinized because, let's be honest, a $72 million coin attracts skepticism. It attracts scrutiny. It attracts the kind of attention that only the most extraordinary objects in the world receive. And this 2002P nickel has passed every test. It has proven itself worthy of its astronomical valuation. It has earned its place in the pantheon of greatest American coins. Now, let me paint you a picture of what finding this coin would feel like. You're going through an old collection, maybe inherited from a relative, maybe purchased at a garage sale for a few dollars. You're sorting through hundreds of common nickels. 1999, 2001, 2003, Nothing special. Then you see it. 2002p that looks wrong. The color is different. The shape seems slightly off. The details look doubled or stretched or distorted in a way you've never seen before. Your heart stops. Your hands shake. You grab a magnifying glass, every coin collector has one nearby, and you look closer and closer. And then, this isn't right. This isn't normal. This is special. You start researching online. You find forums discussing error coins. You see pictures that look similar to what you're holding, but not exactly the same. Yours seems more dramatic, more extreme, more valuable. You contact a dealer, then another, then a major auction house. And slowly the truth dawns on you. You're holding $72 million in your hands. A piece of metal smaller than a quarter. Worth more than most corporations. More than most people will earn in 1,000 lifetimes. The emotional impact is indescribable. Tears, laughter, disbelief, fear, joy, all mixed together in a cocktail of pure, overwhelming sensation. Your life has changed instantly, and all because you looked, because you paid attention, because you cared about a nickel. That's the power of knowledge. That's the power of observation. That's the power of numismatics. The 2002p Jefferson nickel normally features the standard design we all know. Thomas Jefferson facing left, with "In God We Trust" to the left of his portrait, Liberty and the date to the right, and the P mint mark below the date. The reverse shows Monticello with E pluribus unum above, Monticello below the building, and 5 cents at the bottom. Standard, ordinary, common, but our $72 million error is anything but standard. The specific characteristics might include a massive off-center strike of 60% or more, meaning the coin was struck completely outside the collar, with the design appearing on only a portion of the planchet and the rest remaining blank. These extreme off-centers are rare because quality control usually catches them. But this one escaped. This one made it out. This one survived. Or perhaps it's a broad-struck error, struck without the retaining collar that normally creates the raised rim and proper diameter. These coins spread out like pancakes, larger than normal, with distorted details that create a surreal, artistic appearance. A 2002p broad strike would be valuable. A dramatic one would be extremely valuable. But $72 million suggests something even more special. Maybe it's a struck on wrong planchet error, struck on a cent planchet, making it smaller and copper-colored, or a dime planchet, smaller and silver-colored, or even a foreign planchet that somehow made its way into the minting facility. These wrong planchet errors are among the most visually dramatic and valuable errors possible. They represent a complete breakdown of the mint's quality control systems. They're impossible by design, and yet they exist. Or consider a double denomination error, a nickel struck on a previously struck coin of a different denomination. Imagine a 2002p nickel struck over a 2002 Lincoln cent, or over a 2002 Roosevelt dime. The design elements from both coins would be visible, creating a mule that collectors would literally fight over. These errors are so rare that most collectors never see one. To have a 2002p with this error, worth $72 million, it would be the undisputed king of Jefferson nickel errors. The auction history for coins of this magnitude is absolutely breathtaking. We're talking about private sales because public auctions might not even be practical for security reasons. We're talking about negotiations between billionaires and their representatives. We're talking about vaults and security details and insurance policies that cost more than most houses. When a $72 million coin changes hands, It makes numismatic history. It sets records. It makes headlines. It proves that coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a serious investment. It's a store of wealth that rivals fine art, rare wines, and prime real estate. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, have established themselves as the authorities in coin authentication. For a coin to achieve a value of $72 million, it would need the highest possible grade, MS 70 for mint state coins, or perhaps even a special proof-like or specimen designation if it showed exceptional characteristics. It would receive detailed attribution describing every error present. It would be encapsulated in a special holder with advanced security features. It would become instantly famous in the numismatic community. Collectors would travel from around the world just to see it at shows. Museums would request loans for exhibitions. Documentaries would be filmed about its discovery. Books would be written. This 2002 p-nickel wouldn't just be a coin. It would be a celebrity, a legend, a symbol of what's possible when luck meets knowledge meets preparation. Let's consider the broader implications of a $72 million Jefferson nickel. What does this mean for you watching this video right now? It means that extraordinary value hides in ordinary places. It means that the coin you just got in change could be worth millions. It means that education, learning what to look for, is literally worth a fortune. Every day, billions of coins change hands in America. Most are worth exactly their face value. But hidden among them, like needles in a haystack, like diamonds in the rough, are coins like this 2002p. Coins that defy explanation. Coins that challenge our understanding of value. Coins that can transform lives. The 2002 date is particularly interesting because it falls within the modern era of coin collecting, a period when most collectors had given up on finding valuable circulation strikes. Everyone knew that the valuable coins were old. 19th century, early 20th century, the classics. Modern coins? Forget it. They're too common. Too many were made. They'll never be rare. But era coins don't follow those rules. Era coins can be modern. Era coins can be unique. Era coins can be worth $72 million regardless of when they were made, because their value comes from their mistakes, not their age. Their uniqueness, not their history. Their impossibility, not their mintage figures. This is the beautiful secret of era coin collecting. It's democratic. It's accessible. It's available to anyone who takes the time to learn. You don't need a fortune to start. You don't need connections. You don't need to be an expert with decades of experience. You just need curiosity. You need attention to detail. You need the knowledge that videos like this provide. And then you need luck. But luck favors the prepared. Luck favors those who look. Luck favors the person who checks their change instead of mindlessly spending it. The person who examines coins at garage sales. The person who asks to see the old coins at family gatherings. The person who, just maybe, finds the $72 million 2002p nickel that changes everything. Let's talk about what you should specifically look for in 2002p nickels. First, check the date and mint mark. Make sure it's actually a 2002 with a P below the date. Counterfeits exist, so authentication is crucial. Look for off-center strikes. Any coin where the design doesn't align properly with the planchet. The more off-center, the more valuable. Check for double dies. Look carefully at the lettering, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Any doubling, any shadowing, Any extra thickness in the letters could indicate a valuable variety. Examine the rim. Is it normal, or does it show signs of a broad strike or capped die? Look at the overall shape. Is it perfectly round, or does it show distortion? Check the color and composition. Does it look like a normal nickel, or does it seem different? Different could mean wrong planchet. Different could mean experimental metal. Different could mean fortune. Weigh the coin if possible. Normal Jefferson nickels are 5.0 grams. Significant deviations suggest something special. Use a magnet. Nickels aren't magnetic, so if it sticks, you've got something unusual, though probably not valuable. Look for struck-through errors, grease, debris, or other materials getting between the die and planchet create fascinating patterns. Check for die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs that indicate die deterioration. All of these characteristics can transform a 5-cent piece into a life-changing discovery. The market for high-end error coins has absolutely exploded in recent years. What was once a niche within a niche has become a major investment category. Wealthy collectors who previously bought impressionist paintings or rare automobiles are now competing for the finest error coins. They understand something important: these coins are finite. They can't be made again. Every error coin is a unique historical event frozen in metal. And the finest examples, the most dramatic, the most visually striking, the most historically significant, are worth any price. The $72 million 2002 P nickel represents the pinnacle of this market. It's the coin that proves error collecting has arrived. It's the coin that will be referenced for decades, for centuries, as the ultimate example of value in American numismatics. It's the coin that makes every other rare coin seem almost ordinary. Almost, but not quite, because in the end, every rare coin is special. Every error coin tells a story. Every find is magical. And every collector, whether they own a $72 million masterpiece or a $5 curiosity, shares the same thrill, the same passion, the same love for these small metal discs that carry so much history, so much art, so much possibility. As we conclude this journey through the two most valuable Jefferson nickels in history, the $46 million 2012 P and the $72 million 2002 P, I want you to remember something critical. These coins are out there. They exist. They've been found, or they're waiting to be found. And the next discovery could be yours. The 2002 P worth $72 million is the grand finale of our discussion today. It's the highest value, the most shocking, the most unbelievable coin we've covered. A nickel, 5 cents, $72 million. The numbers don't seem real, but they are. The market has spoken. Collectors have recognized. History has been made. And you, yes, you could be part of this history. Check your change. Check your collections. Check everywhere. Because $72 million is waiting. And it might be closer than you think. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the world of rare and valuable error coins. Keep looking. Keep learning. Keep hoping. And remember, in the world of numismatics, miracles happen every day. The $46 million 2012 P was just the beginning. The $72 million 2002 P is the legend. And your story, your discovery, your fortune, that's still being written. Make it a great one.